All right, guys, good morning. I just made my way out here with a nice hot coffee, or sludge as I like to call it, in my tractor cab. I usually get the tunes going in there. I crank the heat up and enjoy my morning coffee on the drive out. I'm out here today in the tractor because we're on the cusp of another snowstorm. Now, this is very, very light snow for this time of year in central Ontario, Canada, but we are about to get some more, and so I'm taking advantage of still getting the tractor out here without the snowblower on it. Because I know very, very soon I'll be taking off the winch on the back, putting on the snowblower, and having to clean this whole trail here. Anyways, what we're doing today, I'm out where I like to hang out most of the time. That's the Hillbilly Hideout version 2.0. I'm out here today. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about my general setup for my sawmill, because I see many times people like yourself are commenting in the videos that you're getting a sawmill or thinking about getting a sawmill, and so I want to give you some insight, some things that I learned along the way from the time I picked up my sawmill till what you see before you. So first and foremost, this right behind you is my Woodland Mills HM130. I bought this back in 2017. It's been about three and a half years. Had a lot of great experiences with this. I'm going to continue cutting with it, I hope, for the next while. Anyways, when I picked this thing up, I drove down to Port Perry, Ontario. There's a store there, a huge warehouse. That's where they do all their business out of. So I drove down there, and very nicely they loaded it into the back of my truck. It was on a big pallet. In fact, it was in, you guys see that green steel crate over here? That's what it came in. So if you can imagine, you know, took up the whole length of my truck, stuck out just a little bit, and that's what it was in. That was in the back of my truck. I got it back to my place, and then I made my first mistake. Instead of bringing the sawmill already loaded into the back of my truck and simply just driving out here into the woods and then assembling it where I was going to have the sawmill, I thought to myself I would just assemble it at my shop where I build everything else. I assemble things and work on things. Well, that went fine. Doesn't take a lot of tools to assemble one of these. Not really that challenging if you ask me. The manual was great, etc., etc. Got it fully assembled with the exception of the track. I assembled half the track, thinking I could just pick up half the track and bring it out here, thinking I could just pick out the upper part of the sawmill, bring it out here. I've got a tractor, of course. Why couldn't I just pick it up and drive it out here? Well, that was a bit of a headache. If you can imagine, that thing's quite, well, it's quite cumbersome, right? It's a bit wide, and it's pretty tall, actually, you know. I don't know how tall that is, maybe 5.5 feet tall. So it's not exactly the easiest thing to get through very narrow trails with off-camber bits. So that was my first mistake. What I should have done is assemble that out here in the woods where the sawmill was going to live. Ultimately, to get the sawmill out to this location here, I fully assembled it at the shop, loaded it into a utility trailer, half assembled the track, loaded both those pieces into the trailer, drove it out here. Not that big of a deal. It got out here a little bit sketchy at times with the weight, with the ATV pulling it, but regardless, made it out here fine. One thing that I would do differently, though, as I mentioned, is assembling it here in the woods where it's going to be sitting, but also making sure I put a lot of thought into the shelter that was going to house this sawmill. I knew when I ordered the sawmill I had lots of wood to cut. I knew that I was going to be able to assemble it fine, but I didn't really plan ahead too much for the shelter that was going to cover it. I just thought, you know, I could bring it out to the woods, throw down some concrete blocks, and put the track on it, and away you go. Well, that was a great idea. That was very ambitious of me to think it was going to be that easy. It certainly wasn't. I got it to this location. I took the tractor bucket one day after clearing out just a few trees in this location right in front of this Hillbilly Hideout. I had the original shelter. Cleared out the topsoil, cut just a few trees. I tried to use the bucket to smooth out the topsoil as best as I could, scraped away some of the debris that was on top of it, sticks and things of that nature. I had a nice dirt base here. I didn't have anything to pack it with, so I just used a hand tamper. That was fine. Threw down some concrete blocks, threw down some pieces of wood, and put the track on it. Well, I can tell you it was nowhere near flat or level. I spent a great deal of time trying to get it flat and level, and it made me think to myself, maybe what I should have done is thought about the base and the shelter a little bit more. So after spending hours getting the sawmill track nice, flat, and level, because of my my topsoil sort of base, I thought to myself I should have put gravel down or put some sort of stone down or even a concrete pad or even built a wood platform like this right from the beginning. Now, I originally decided against concrete just because I'm quite a ways back in the woods. I have no water source near me, but I could have probably done something like the wood platform you see behind you right from the get-go, and that would have saved me a lot of headaches. Another thing I might have done as well is get a roof put up. Getting a roof put up would have allowed me to, well, it would allow me to have protection from the elements right from day one. When I got this sawmill, it was in the spring, so I wasn't really thinking about snow. But if you're getting a sawmill and you're on the cusp of snow or in winter, I got to tell you, one big snow sure takes the wind out of your sails, because, you know, not only do my logs look like this, but if it were you without a shelter, your sawmill would look like this, and everything freezes up and not really that fun. So first thing, get a base down, then I would get my shelter up, then I would put the sawmill into place, assemble it underneath of that on that base, and you'd be laughing. And another point about having just a dirt floor here, that's what I had originally for my sawmill. The dirt floor was fine, but if you look around here, we end up getting a bunch of snow, and the snow is sitting on top of the ground, obviously. Usually we have like 2 or 3 feet of snow, but not this year for some reason. But that 2 or 3 feet of snow, what happens in the spring is it starts to melt. Well, the only thing that doesn't have snow on it is where your sawmill is, assuming you put a shelter over top of it. And so all that water from the snow melts off, and it sort of pools in the lowest spot, which is where your sawmill is, and it ices up again at night when it freezes. And as a result, you're left with one big giant puddle underneath your track where you're trying to walk. Not very fun. So having that dirt floor, getting rid of it, putting down gravel, snow, or even some sort of wood or concrete would have been my preference. So in my experience, when I ended up getting my sawmill in place without the shelter, what ended up happening to me was it would rain because it was the springtime. Everything would get wet, but it wasn't overly concerning. It wasn't a huge issue. But if it was on the cusp of winter and we were about to get snow, getting snow all over my sawmill would sure make things very difficult. And so I probably would have even more so wanted to have that shelter up first. Some of you guys probably don't even get snow who are watching this video, and so you probably don't even have to worry as much about a shelter. You may just throw a tarp over your sawmill and call it a day. If I were in your situation, I probably would do the same. Eventually, I might build something more elaborate, but just starting out, I'd probably just throw a tarp over that. Wintertime, different story. With that in mind, having the sawmill out here allows me to control the waste without having to put it up near my shop where I don't want that waste sort of sitting around. I don't have as much room, and well, I'm going to be around with all kinds of other things in addition to just sawing wood. So having the sawmill out here in the woods allows me to keep all the waste, like the slab wood, which is the scrap or the offcuts from my logs, as well if I have any you know, tops or bits and pieces of logs that ended up getting culled or didn't make it to the sawmill, I can just sort of pile it up. And I also have a spot around back where I can pile the lumber. So a bit more space out here. I can throw stuff and pile it up where it's not necessarily going to have to be cleaned up immediately. I can deal with it when I have time. Some of you guys out there will say to me, well, all your tools are up at your shop. Isn't it a bit of a hassle going back and forth in order to get tools to do maintenance on this thing? Well, the truth is I'm not doing a heck of a lot of wrenching on this. I'm out here periodically. You guys see me change blades. I change belts from time to time. Every once in a while I'll put a new bearing in, but I'm not doing that all that often. And certainly I find that I'm doing that a lot less than I would be if I had to haul logs all the way out of the bush, all the way through the trails, across the creek, etc., way back up to the shop. So this is the easier option, having it out here. As you guys have seen in the past, and forgive the mess with all the snow, I just keep a few basic hand tools out here, and that keeps me going. When I first got my sawmill, what I was doing was I was just using the grapple on my tractor like this, and I was loading one log at a time onto my sawmill bed itself. That was fine and dandy. It worked pretty well, but I was doing a lot of back and forth. If you can imagine the logs I have around here, and if you see my other videos, you know this, they're not all that big at times. And so if you can imagine, if I have a relatively small log, I'm going back and forth quite a bit to get a new log, because it doesn't take me all that long to make lumber when the log's relatively small. So that got old real quick. And so I think in addition to building the shelter, another thing I would like to have in place before I had that sawmill up and running was a log deck. This is a very basic log deck. I threw it together with some old logs that were dead standing in the bush. This log deck is set so it's just above the height of my sawmill, or my sawmill bed here where the track is. And so what that allows me to do, and as you guys have seen in the past, it allows me to set this sort of, what do I call it, drawbridge almost, set it down to close the gap between the log deck and the top of the sawmill bed. Having that log deck in place before I had my sawmill set up sure would have been easier. I would have had less time going back and forth, but those are some of the things you learn as you sort of boost your productivity, boost your efficiency. Now this log deck here could be put in a number of different positions. It could be built a little bit longer, a little bit wider, whatever for your application, but it is certainly a time saver, because what I do now is when I get logs right to this location, whether I dragged it with my tractor, maybe a snow machine ATV, I just come out here and I preload this log deck with logs. And as you can see, we got a few here. I don't know how many we got up there, but I preload it. And then when I'm cutting, that's all I'm doing. I'm in the sawmill and I'm cutting. I'm not cutting and loading, which, if you can imagine, takes some time away from your cutting. And, you know, maybe you can boost your efficiency if you just do one or the other. When that sawmill made it out here and I was starting to cut, I was super excited, like I'm sure many of you guys are. I was making lumber for the very first time. I wasn't going to the store and buying it. I was thinking about all the savings I was going to have, all the projects that I was going to be building. Life was good. But then what ended up happening was I started to cut more and more logs, and I started to get more and more of this stuff, slab wood. What I ended up doing was I just let her pile up, and I let it pile up and up and up. And honest to goodness, and you can go back in my videos and see the piles, I probably had piles that were 6 feet high and, I don't know, 20 feet, maybe more feet long there. I had so much slab wood that it was getting overwhelming, to the point where I ended up having to stop sawing altogether for a period of time, focus strictly on cutting up and processing that stuff, whether that was to be used for firewood or to be chipped. But it took a great deal of effort just to deal with that waste. So what am I saying here? Well, find a way, find a plan to deal with your waste before you get your sawmill operation underway. If you just start cutting and cutting and cutting, you're going to have so much of that stuff so quickly, you're not even going to know what to do with it. And that's going to become one real headache. My strategy, you guys have seen before, I hook a chipper to the back of my tractor. If that stuff is not going to be used for firewood, like the stuff over there is, which has been cut up and put into IBC cages, if it's not going to be used for that firewood, I run it through the chipper, I spread it on my trails. That's a good way of dealing with it. In those first few days of owning a sawmill, my excitement was really, really high. I was learning, I was cutting lumber, I was making a lot of slab wood, but I was also making a lot of lumber. I was making 4x4s, 1x6s, 2x8s, whatever I could make, but I didn't have a dedicated plan in place for where to put that lumber. So what ended up happening was I was putting it wherever I could. Well, that got old real quick. I was stepping over freshly cut lumber, I was piling it up here, I was piling it up there, and what I was finding was the lumber was starting to mold on me. It was molding because I didn't think ahead enough that the lumber had to dry, or at least get some of that moisture off of it, by stacking it with spacers in between the lumber. That brings me over to my lumber shed. Having something like this lumber shed, would have really been a beautiful thing for me, because I could have then put my lumber that I freshly cut in here with these guys in between the lumber, so the lumber didn't mold. My very first experience with making lumber was that it was great on the first, second, third, fourth day, but after a week or two went by, I came out to check on my lumber. I would notice I was getting some mold on it, and that really took the wind out of my sails. So having a setup like this, or even just a shelter, or even, you know, just some steel roofing over top of your pile of lumber with adequate spacing between the lumber for air, that would have been something I wish I did, or wish I planned for early on. On that point, stickers. These things right here, my little wooden stickers I just talked about, the first time I made these was actually after I had already cut lumber. That was a mistake. I should have cut a whole bunch of these things right off the start as my very first sawmill project, so that I'd have it ready, so that when I actually made lumber, I could just put it in between the lumber, things would dry nicely. That was another mistake. So if you guys are looking ahead and you're thinking to yourself, what do I got to get in place before my sawmill arrives? I would say find somewhere you're going to put your lumber, somewhere for your slab wood. Maybe consider how your logs are going to make their way onto the sawmill, and then overall where your sawmill is going to live. If it's going to live as a stationary unit under something, well, think about what that should look like. Consider getting that in place, as well as the base. If it's on a trailer, well, that might be a whole different story. maybe instead of having it under a platform like this, maybe you're just gonna park it inside at night, bring it out in the day to cut your wood. But anyways, this is my general setup. I learned this, you know, sort of as I went. Some of you can maybe watch this video and learn it before you go through that. But overall, you're gonna live and learn just like I did. You're gonna have a lot of fun. The excitement's gonna be real. The excitement for me is still here. So that's 3.5 years later. I'm still out here in the cold, still cutting wood, still drinking sludge. Guys, that's it for me. I'm gonna be going back in there momentarily. Have a look at my sawmill. I'll get that thing fired up, cut some wood. I would encourage you guys to come back next time, check that out. If you haven't done so already, give her the old like or subscribe. See you next time.